Là, je me suis fermé, là, c'était fini, tu vois. Là, ce qu'il m'a fait lui, m'en bat les couilles. Là. Ah ben là, ça fait... C'est là où le personnage, j'ai besoin de personne, j'ai pas besoin de famille, tout ça, a vraiment commencé à exister. Ils t'ont fait du mal, maintenant à toi d'en faire. Et à toi de t'en faire à toi.
We all talk about change, changing ourselves, having a second chance, or at least, you know, that notion of having a second chance is very attractive. I think it's something we can all identify with. And, but it's quite rare in life that I mean, people say, you know, can people really change? Can people really change, you know? And I met someone and said, God, this guy's changed. This guy really has changed. This is a story you can witness through this story, someone who really did. When I could use the word metamorphosis, I don't use it as a sort of intellectual effect. I mean, it really is someone who metamorphosed, who's become someone different. Or at least re-became himself, because the person he created, the person, this character that he forced himself to become, was an animal.
Calvet peintre.
Ouais, c'est ça, c'est
J'ai commencé à être violent. J'ai commencé petit à petit à être sur les deux côtés, tu vois, dans la police municipale, et en même temps, je commençais à repartir dans les clubs. Je faisais rigoler les gens aussi. Hein. Ça ne veut pas dire que c'est pas pour ça que le soir, j'allais pas fracasser une tête ou que j'allais pas m'autodétruire. Mais dans la journée, je faisais rigoler tout le monde, donc ça ne veut rien dire.
He said, all I wanted was a family. The person I turned myself into didn't need one, didn't want one. And it gave me a sort of key to his psyche in a sense. You know, I saw, okay, and then this thread through the film, which I saw as being quite crucial, was this alter ego, schizophrenia, whatever, but there were various points in his life which I chart through the film where he created this other personality, which wasn't him, it was just this created character which was violent, dark, trashed everything, you know.
Very much still present in his work as an artist.
Absolutely, because it's a purging of all that went before.
Je n'ai plus arrêté. Je n'ai plus arrêté. C'est-à-dire que j'ai commencé à faire les murs, les plafonds, les lavabos, tous les endroits, le canapé, le lit, je poussais le matelas en dessous, de partout.
Because it was part of his experience, this is part of his life manifestation, but this is a guy who, you know, he looks back and thinks, God, look what I did. I used to live in Buenos Aires. I was traveling with some friends in Nicaragua. I was driving from Nicaragua to Costa Rica. Sorry, the other way, Costa Rica to Nicaragua, and I heard in the car these friends of mine, they were French friends of mine, talking about this guy who had this restaurant in this place where we were going, this colonial town in Nicaragua called Granada. And there was this guy, this French guy who was painting, and he had a restaurant with someone, and he'd been a mercenary and he'd robbed a bank or something, and I was in the back of the car, and these guys were from the south of France. I thought, sounds like a tall story to me, but I didn't think much of it. And then we arrived in this town, and we went into this cafe restaurant, and the first thing that hit me was this, I saw a painting on the wall. And I don't know a lot about art, but I'm quite fond of photography myself, photographic exhibitions and so forth, but I saw this painting and it really, really jumped out the wall at me. It was sort of screaming out the wall. It was very bright, it was very tortured, it was colourful and expressive, but it was also very tortured. And I thought, God, who the hell painted that? You know, and that was all I thought. Then I saw this guy marching out of the restaurant, and I started talking to him, and I realised that he was the guy who painted the thing, he was the guy they were talking about in the car, and I thought, this sounds like a character.
J'étais complètement alcoolique, junkie, sans dents, à 47 kilos, bon, complètement paranoïaque, mettant des pièges de partout, vivant avec des armes de partout. Enfin, je veux dire, qu'est-ce que tu fais? Je veux dire, c'est bonjour, c'est papa. Non, tu vois, ça déjà, c'est pas possible. Et puis après, il m'a fallu toutes ces années-là pour me reconstruire. Tout ce que je peux faire, c'est essayer de le retrouver, et puis, et c'est pas de lui dire pardon. Je crois que c'est un peu tard pour arriver à dire pardon, tu vois.
The risk limitation you take in making a documentary, you really don't know what's going to happen. this is the character's goal, this is what he wants to do, you say, okay, I'm going to run with that. And this is actually the redemption of this character in this story. It's the redemption of this guy in his life. Whether you achieve that or whether he achieves that, which after all is the same thing. Because of course he wanted to be forgiven. We all want to be forgiven. But more than that, genuinely more than that, there were two other things at play. It was him needing to forgive himself, for sure, and also really concerned, that was what really I was so impressed by, really being the father he never was in that search, in the responsible choices he made about if he did meet his son, how would he do it? And even from earlier on in the film where you see him writing a letter, you know, if I did meet my son and he told me to get, you know, F off or whatever, I mean, you know, how would I deal with that? I need to write a letter and I need to just slip it to him. And I mean, the responsible choices he made as a, you know, as a father, I thought was, as they say in French, chapeau.